All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Attack on Titan, Season 3, Episode 20. Episode 20.
Oh boy.
Y'all, the last episode, we were left off with some serious stuff.
Nah.
Like we were given a taste,
Nope.
of backstory, of historia,
Exposition. Except it's not because they're showing.
They were showing, and oh my god, just the little bit we got, I want more.
Boy.
I want more. So I predict that they'll spend at least 75% of this episode on just that whole thing. So we have Grisha as a young boy.
Yep.
And we have Faye.
Yeah.
A girl that's a friend of his.
Or
a sister.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure on the whole connection they have together. But at the very least, they're both kids. And they're both in this other place. And also, it's good to keep in mind that this is, when Grisha is a kid. Meaning that this is decades earlier. Yeah. And this is also the earliest point we've seen in the timeline of regarding events in the Attack on Titan universe.
Technically, the stuff with Ymir would have been 60 years ago.
Technically, I would say you're right.
Yes.
But Ymir stuff is the earliest in the Attack on Titan timeline, but in terms of things that are surrounding this in the Attack on Titan timeline, there's nothing really that we have to reference before, after, but also in this geographical location.
Yeah,
which is just nuts.
Yep, and they're going on an adventure, and they just
we have zeppelins
and military checkpoints and armbands with stars, and they just ran past the checkpoint.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
Oh,
I can't wait for this. So, y'all, I'm ready. I think. Are you ready to see?
You have literally no idea.
Okay, all right.
Literally no idea.
So, without further ado, y'all, let's just jump right into it. All right, everyone, we're gonna be starting the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now.
Oh boy.
Oh my god! It's so modern!
Yeah, cars.
And this is at least 25 to 30 years ago. Oh. Wow. Oh. That day,
and this track,
that is such an ominous track too.
And they didn't go to the OP.
They didn't. Whoa!
Oh boy!
Oh, the looks people are giving them. Whoa! Devil Bloods, what? Eldians? It's quiet. Whoa.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That's awesome. Internment zone. Oh man. Oh god. Oh, God. Whoa! Wow. What the hell? Oh my gosh. Jeez. Sent to their paradise even if they're kids. What the heck is this? This is crazy.
Oh boy.
Oh my god! What the what? Oh, you bastard. I took her home, yeah, totally.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's
That your
right.
ancestors committed from Marley Public Security. Oh. Oh, he's bent. He's bent. Yeah. Wow. Oh my god.
Oh boy. And it was just the odds of, which soldier,
Whoa, 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 whoa. What the what? What the hell are we getting? What? What?
Oh boy. Remember that ED of season 2?
Oh my god! Oh, that fits with the 100 years ago. Whoa, that's it. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What?
Yep.
What?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
This is so much info, Jacob. What?
Uh-huh. Yep.
Whoa. Oh my god. Whoa. Wow. Wow. Oh my god. A lot of it. All of it. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and now he's just older. Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Is this Zeke? Whoa. Wait, he's blonde. Kind of looks like him but younger. Nah, but he's on the wrong side then. No. Oh my god. Wait,
Yep.
what?
Mhm.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Well, we're starting a resistance group then. Here we go. Okay. Too loud, too loud. Whoa. Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Oh.
Oh, and she's fulfilling the role that Ymir did
Mm-hmm.
in the backstory that Ymir had.
Right.
Whoa. Whoa. This is explaining so much.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, and he's leading this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she's the woman in the
Mm-hmm.
in the photograph.
Yep.
Wait. So Zeke is his kid?
Oh boy.
What?
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Wait. So Zeke has royal blood?
Well, more importantly, Zeke is Aaron's half brother.
Yes. Oh my god,
Not
that's
related by blood. Or no, yeah, no, they are.
that
Yeah.
explains maybe why the Beast Titans. Wait, hold on. Oh. Okay. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. Wait, what? What? Oh my god! Wait! What? This is so layered! Oh my god! Uh-huh. So there's their whole mission that they sent in the kids for. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they need to go faster. Oh my god.
And the toy, like,
wow. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yep.
Mhm.
Oh my
Yep.
god.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna break the poor kid. Oh my god. Wow. Wow.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yep. Oh boy.
Okay. Oh my gosh. And here's where Ymir was. Yep. Whoa!
Mm-hmm.
Whoa! So, wait. Oh!
Yep.
And he never knew, so there was nothing he could give, so... Jeez. Oh, the guy that said you could look at the Zeppelin at least.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, though. He can't turn into a Titan here because how does he make it to, the city? Wow. Wow. Oh! And he's going to watch them all get injected and turn... Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, they didn't turn him? Wow. That's cruel. Oh. I was wondering how they would guide them towards a specific thing. And they also have an outpost on the island, so it's close enough, and it's an island, so they can't be... It all fits so well.
Specifically the one that killed the sister. It's like...
Yep. Jeez. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have a literal, Australia prison colony.
And recognize some of these Titans.
Is that the one that ate
Aaron?
Armin?
Or, yeah, I was about to eat Armin and, yeah.
And then ate Aaron.
Yep.
The
You've seen, and
the God
the
Titan.
one that ate, I think the one that ate Thomas is there, too.
Wow, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one that ate Thomas was the guy that was screaming at him. The blonde guy, right? Just earlier. No!
Mm-hmm.
His
Yeah.
wife?
Yep.
No!
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh! We barely got a chance to know her. Oh! Oh! Oh, wait a minute. Oh. 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 Wait. Wait.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Jacob.
Yeah.
That was
the smiling Titan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yep. She found him. Well, not quite.
So Eren experienced that via the memories shared because he ate his father. But he doesn't have perfect recollection of them. So this is going to be a continued, why am I remembering this right now kind of thing. Wow.
Gotta say, it cuts his hair.
Yeah. He is remembering. What? Oh, we're still going. Oh my god. Oh, this is nuts.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Oh. Oh my god. No way. So he kills a Titan with his bare hands? There's no way.
Yeah, no, there's... Yeah.
Oh my god.
This cruel world.
Uh-huh.
The kawaii
Wow,
Titan.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Oh. Wow. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't let him talk about the royal blood because... Oh, yes. Yes. So is this the owl sends his regards, or is this actually the owl? Oh, that's justice right there. Oh my god. Wow. Wow. Oh
Yep,
my
yep,
god.
Oh boy.
He's a Titan. What?
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh.
What the heck?
Yep.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
What?
What? Okay. There's something in the manga that I really wanted to say that
What?
wasn't in there.
I mean, you can't tell me,
Damn
but
it.
like,
Damn it.
they cut off right before something.
Maybe? I can't quite remember. But, oh, whoa.
God, that episode.
Yeah.
The last episode wasn't the basement reveal. This was the basement reveal. This was everything.
No.
This was actually like...
Except it wasn't.
No, but the thing is, Jacob, the thing is that we have almost an entire explanation for everything up until this point. Like, if I studied this episode, I could probably extrapolate the entire world of Attack on Titan.
Oh, probably.
Like, that's how much we got, though. Like,
and the time for subtlety is gone. Like,
oh yeah,
we're going. We are going.
Eldians.
Like, and to think, there was a point when that was all we knew. Like, oh boy.
This discussion, y'all. Well.
Here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah. We were given so much info here that I'm about to basically go full hooded Jedi Master on this freaking show, Jacob. So let's talk about the scope of this. All right. We have basically a what goes around comes around ethnic cleansing conflict between two races of people, two nations of people that goes back nearly 2,000 years ago.
Yes, but slight clarification. The Eldians, as far as we know, never did ethnic cleansing or whatever. That was propaganda from...
But we don't know that. We don't know that for certain.
I mean, sure, I suppose.
There's
the idea that they discovered the truth behind it, but yeah, those history books could be...
History is written by the victors, absolutely. So it makes sense that the
tales from the losers would be more accurate.
Yes, exactly. But the thing is that they... Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's actually crazy, y'all. It's actually insane.
And to think that now
I'm
you
trying to figure out how to
understand
tackle this.
Well, okay. Let's start at the beginning.
Now you know Attack on Titan.
No. So,
in terms of season 1, episode 1, or
so now you know why I didn't want you to watch the ED of season 2.
Well, the ED of season 2...
Or I can't remember if I said not to watch it, or if I dismissed it heavily as just like, oh yeah, that's all just
I think what you said is that
basically
it's a lot of impressionistic stuff, but don't look too closely into it because it might mislead you in certain things.
Right.
And the general thing that I remember is this image here. Yeah. Was the image of this thing where they mentioned in the 1,820 years ago.
Yeah, and I think there was someone eating a heart in the... in the season 2 stuff.
Yeah, I think there was some cannibalism of sorts, but
something like that. Yeah.
So they say basically 1,820 years ago, our ancestor Ymir Fritz made a contract.
Yep. And okay, but I just love the sentence that comes after that.
Yes.
Yes. Made a contract with the devil of all earth and obtained the power of the Titans. And that shot right there,
Okay. Okay. So here's my first thought as to how this changes everything. We have a conflicting historical record thing regarding regarding which race of people basically is the horrible people basically, right? And so a war was started over some
there was an imbalance of power at the very least because Titans are involved and people don't like that.
And we have a definitive thing that both are somewhat in agreement with, that the Titans came from the Eldians.
Yes, the
Right.
Yep.
The Eldians, which are the oppressed race in this
Correct.
in this current
Yeah.
setup here,
Mm-hmm.
and then the
The Marlians.
Marlians. Okay.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. So the Marlians.
The Marlians then basically subjugated them in a
Right.
war.
They got their hands on 7 of the 9 Titans.
Yes, they ended up basically. According to the Marlians, basically led the Dark Ages of, oppressing every other race and what have you as they ruled this, world basically, or this continent or what have you. And they say, but then the Marlians plotted to subvert Eldia and its arrogance from within, and they brought 7 of the 9 Titans under their control and were victorious in the Great Titan War 80 years ago. Now, does that kind of seem to fit really with the idea of the 100 years ago we fled within the walls kind of thing? I think it does.
Maybe
it might be a little bit off.
Yeah, it might be a little bit off.
Grisha's age is a little bit hard to identify when he's an adult.
There's the idea that because that would mean that basically because if Eren is 10 when the story starts, right?
Yeah,
then that would mean that Eren would have to have been born 10 years later. We don't know exactly how
10 years earlier.
10 years later than this part here,
Yeah.
Which that means, Grisha...
It doesn't fit exactly.
It might not fit exactly.
And I think the thing is with that is that maybe on some level they're not wanting to get exact with the dates because then it keeps things vague so that people don't ask questions.
And it's also, we don't know exactly how old Grisha was there and things like that. So, he could have been 13, he could have been 17, who knows.
Okay. So the big things that they revealed this episode are basically that there's a race of people called the Eldians.
Right.
And a race of people called the Marlians.
Right. And the Eldians are the ancestors of Ymir.
Of the one that basically made the deal with the Devil of All Earth to obtain the power of the Titans, which in and of itself doesn't really seem to
the deal part could be part of the propaganda. Who knows?
Yes, exactly. One of the things that seems to be a little bit just kind of off with this is that you have the idea of a genesis of regarding Titans. I like that they make it a very simple mythical story here. But then the idea of obtaining the power of the Titans and then upon her death, Ymir's spirit was split into the 9 Titans who formed the Eldian Empire. That seems where things get a little bit fantastical because on the one hand, we don't know what the power of the Titans is, but the idea that all the Titans could combine at some point in the end with an Evangelion type ending,
go back into Ymir or whatever,
to perform as Super Titan, or more realistically, just to go back into someone of the royal bloodline.
Sure. Right, because the person with the royal blood is needed to truly
wield the powers of the Titans, basically. Or at the very least, the founding Titan.
Right.
And I would say that the founding Titan's main thing that it has is it has the controlling Titans and the memory of probably the original stuff.
Right.
It has the true history of the world within itself. So it knows... Whoever is the founding Titan basically knows the actual story. This story is, I would say, perfect to go theorize from, but I think it is important to understand that it is a mythic story and is also something that is over 2,000 or almost 2,000 years old, which means that it's probably not 100% accurate.
Exactly. So not necessarily focus on the details so much as the broad strokes.
The broad strokes. Yeah. But this idea of 9 Titans... And then this is mentioned again later. It said they brought 7 of the 9 Titans under their control, and were victorious. The Eldian king at the time erected 3 walls on the island of Paradis and fled there with many of his people.
Yep.
So, I gotcha. Basically, what ended up happening is that the 2 Titans that weren't underneath their control fled there, and one of them was the founding Titan. But then what's the other one?
I believe
that's something that just feels like we'll just put that in there and we'll just hope you forget so that we can do a big reveal later.
I'm not entirely sure
Because
but I believe what it's supposed to be is that the owl is the second one.
Oh,
and that basically
gotcha.
And that basically it's
well, whoever is the owl's descendant or whatever.
Right, exactly. You know, so then Grisha and then Eren, you know, that was the second one that was unaccounted for, basically.
Gotcha. Yeah, okay. Now, that's the other thing I was actually going to bring up. It looks like that Titan is Eren's Titan.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So that means Grisha is going to eat the owl here. That just means that's what's going to happen here.
Probably. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Which would be then how he would get to the walls. Yeah.
Safely. Because otherwise he wouldn't
exactly.
make it.
Right,
and also we know that he's a Titan shifter by the time he arrives
exactly,
there.
yeah.
And if they're basically just saying, like, you're going to have to, you know, wait to see that, like, you know, if you're paying attention, you'll know that that's coming. But it seems like that's what kind of has to be kind of the big last thing, is that he has to then tell Grisha kind of his own stuff, so that Grisha isn't just going into this with no info.
Right. So
because he's the secret informant, right? And if he's no longer the secret informant in what's the name of their country?
Marley.
Oh, is it just Marley?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Marley. Then they have no one anymore. They're abandoned, actually.
Right. Well, and the resistance movement was gutted. Or at least this cell of it, if it's
I think in some level this is probably something that constantly happened. Little cells would pop up, they would get squashed and put down.
Right.
But the idea that the owl basically decides, you're our hope here. You need to take this Titan. That seems like something that's just a bit too much pressure, maybe. Just a bit much, but maybe on some level he at least tests him out to basically say, I'm going to maybe take you with me. And maybe that's it, is that on the way there, maybe he takes, Grisha there, and on the way there he realizes that Grisha is a better person for this job. And he just carries the injection he was going to give him the whole time. And he's like, okay,
it's time for you to take the torch.
To do this. Yeah. And that's a whole theme, I would say, of this story, is the idea of legacy and lineage and passing things on.
Right. And not necessarily under the best of circumstances either. Because
cannibalism is never the best of circumstances.
Well, no, I know. But I'm talking like the whole thing with Grisha's dad and being like, all right, you gotta play by their rules, and pushing that on Grisha, and Grisha being like, I do not hold to that, I aim to misbehave. And then him doing basically the same thing with Zeke, being like, you have to help us, pass them off and stuff.
That broke me. I knew immediately what was coming once they said, and we pushed it onto Zeke. I was like, no, you idiots.
Yep.
You idiots.
Yeah.
God, I love when stories do this. Avatar: The Last Airbender did a perfect example of the kid version of this, where when you push the burdens of the world onto a child, they reject that. That is not what a child is meant to shoulder.
Because they haven't made it their own. If they choose to take it up, awesome. But if you try and push it onto them,
they will reject
it.
In fact, in some ways, if they don't reject it, that's even worse, because then that means at some level in the future, they'll probably snap a little bit from the fact that they realize, wait, I didn't decide this.
Or you just get really lucky and...
No, that's almost never going to happen. There's so many times where kids basically have that even stronger reverse thing from what their parents tried to imprint on them.
Because it's been repressed because they... strongly enough think I need to hold to this because...
Well, no, they feel, and maybe in some ways, that their trust was betrayed by their parents. So when they grow up and go through maturation, they realize, wait a minute, why did I accept all these things my parents told me blindly? And then if the parents haven't maybe matured with that and realized that it's okay for them to reject their beliefs, teachings, and what have you, the child gets even more aggressive with it.
Hence the whole trope in storytelling of the estranged parents and, and kids and things like that. Yeah,
because it's real life.
Exactly.
But Zeke being his freaking kid,
and
Dina Fritz being
the smiling titan.
the smiling titan, meaning
yeah.
that, like, if we go back to the moment where this whole show kicks off, she was literally still able to hold on to that little bit of her humanity that she actually finds. She finds his house.
Yep.
Like,
and then she's like, "You married another woman."
Wow. And then she eats his
wife,
his new wife.
Yeah.
That's dark.
Yeah.
Because it's something where it doesn't make sense as being like a thing of that she knew anything about that. Mm-hmm. Obviously,
right.
she's a titan.
It could just be sort of like, like the fate, destiny, whatever.
And she never saw. Mm-hmm. She never saw Grisha before she was before she was killed. Mm-hmm. By the thing there, which also that actually makes another interesting point here, is that when that whole thing happened at the end of season 2,
yes,
that was the Smiling Titan,
correct,
and something connection-wise happened when Dina's Titan and Eren kind of were touching. Yeah. And it just seemed like that was the time that the power activated, right?
Yep.
But what if there was something more going on there?
Or it was because Eren was in contact with someone of royal blood?
Like, on some level, the fact that she's royal blood can't be understated.
Oh, yeah.
There's something that happened there.
Right.
And that whole little electrical,
right.
like,
and that would explain why
thing.
Eren hasn't been able to do it since, except for maybe the fact that he still, when he's running away with Mikasa, he still sends the Titans after Reiner. So.
On some level, there's something that's always been kind of just there as regarding Titans, and it's just an aesthetic thing, I think, but maybe on some level with the fact that there was a mechanical aspect brought to this, the idea of the electricity, the whole little
some
bolt
sort of
energy.
Electromagnetic.
Yeah. This is where things go weird and stuff, is that whenever a Titan basically shows up, there's this giant
lightning
flash of light, and also specifically with Titan shifters, there's actually like a bolt of lightning from the sky, like an actual like big thing there. Whereas with
Shazam!
With exactly. Basically, in some level, you could say that maybe the lightning is the spirit of Ymir from beyond death that's merged with the devil of the earth or whatever.
I like to kind of think of it as
that's the magic stuff, basically.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the fact that the Titan itself is coming from somewhere, so it's kind of breaking the laws of physics that happens. Right. So lightning strikes, it's magic. It's just magic,
yeah. But it's still just a crazy thing to think that they're trying to introduce potentially some level of mechanics to the magic. Just saying.
Yeah.
And we already have one that was introduced in the earlier parts of season 3 with the idea of the royal bloodline being a special key to the higher levels of magic.
And then also the whole thing of just, eating Titans to to become shifters and things like that.
Okay, so we have this whole thing of where we have this aspect of the history. What?
Well, last episode, when you saw the picture, you were like, and these characters that we've never seen before, and you kept repeating that. People were just laughing so much because you have seen Zeke before.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And so it's Zeke and it's
Dina.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
And we've seen them many times before.
Dina in different form.
Well, we've seen that flashback so many times that I can't even tell you, it's ridiculous. So that is actually crazy. So here's this thing here. I love that we have no direct proof on anyone's view of history here. One of my thoughts regarding the whole idea of this conflict is that just because Eren has a Titan that's been given to him by his father to save the world or something like that, that doesn't necessarily make their cause just in any way. Looking at this from an objective third-party standpoint, there's some horrible things that have been happening here on both sides.
Well, the thing is that yes, the thing is
that there's potentially a third way of looking at this.
Right now, the horrible things are happening to the Eldians, not to the Marleyans.
Not necessarily.
Maybe in the past there was something like that.
It doesn't. Okay, I get you, but the thing is that we cannot ignore what's been going on in the last human city, the city, the walls, and stuff like that.
That's you're right.
That is being apparently carried out by Eldians.
All the people on the island are Eldians.
But are they?
Yeah.
How do we know? How do we know?
That's where they send all the Eldians. That is the penal colony for Eldians.
Then why did they make such a big deal about why the Eldians then practiced essentially ethnic cleansing against the Ackermans? Like, and also the Oriental clan was also
right, and it's
also
right.
And they did the same thing.
Yeah, and it's not sure whether that's something that happened before they went to the island or after.
Well, we know that the Ackerman thing happened after.
Right. But
we have Penny's whole story there to go with that.
We don't know if it started before then or not. So
the point is that Eldians are doing it.
Sure. Yeah.
The point is that it lends a little bit of credence to the idea that the Eldians did not have a good history either. Just because they might not have done all those horrible things doesn't necessarily mean that they were good guys.
Well, another way you could think about it is that anytime you make a try and make a generalization
you're
about
going to be
group
wrong.
Of people, you're going to be wrong.
Totally.
If any race of people just as much as any other race have the propensity for good and evil.
Yes.
So there are going to be horrible things that are done by groups of people because they're comprised of individuals.
But the revolutionaries here, they needed to have basically the belief in something they didn't have 100% proof on, that it's all propaganda. And it made them, yes, we are right in our thing here, because it was actually that Ymir did,
she helped the world,
brought prosperity. There was, where was this here?
Right. Yeah.
So he meets the guy who ends up becoming the Titan that ate Thomas, because that definitely
that shot right there. That shot right there
is so good.
All of those people,
he's cutting the cross
all of those people you see later as Titans.
Wow.
Yeah.
Actually,
There's a comparison thing. Like
this guy is the one that's the Kawaii
That's the Kawaii Titan. The guy behind him is the bearded Titan.
Yep. Right
Santa,
there. Santa Titan. Yes.
Yeah.
Or the God Titan or whatever you want.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yep.
Okay. So then he basically becomes the new revolutionary. They have the whole thing with the owl. He led the restorationists without ever showing himself. Now, then they basically find, look, this is the truth. Our founder, Ymir, awakened the power of the Titans, cultivating the wilds, built roads.
Bridged the mountains.
She helped the people prosper and develop this entire continent. History of is just a convenient deception for Marley. Now, here's the thing. All this tells us is that there was good things that they did, which means that, yes, Marley's history is not 100% accurate.
Right.
But the idea that prosperity and bringing good things means they didn't do horrible things is not at all the case.
Right. Well,
so I love that there's an ambiguous nature to the nature of this conflict, not meaning based necessarily good versus evil.
Well, and I
just love that.
Well, and the idea that basing who's right or not off of things that happened in the past.
Yep. Doesn't affect the present.
Doesn't really affect the present. So, and
it's so good.
One of the other things that I think is funny.
Oh, yes.
And the fact that they say 80 years, but that seems like not quite enough. Like it should be like
should be less.
It should be less, Yeah. Let's say it was like, I don't know, 75 years. What happened 75 years ago in our world?
Oh, I know. Yeah. I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Revisionist history.
Relevance.
And so many crazy stuff. Yep. But then here's the thing. they have this whole thing that he's like, the history we were taught is just a convenient deception for Marley. And then he said, that's right. Even if they fool the others, they can't trick us true Eldians. But then he says, wait, Grisha,
you can
impressive. You can read this ancient language.
Uh-huh.
And he says, no, I still haven't deciphered most of it. Which means he might not even necessarily be telling the truth here. He's looking at hieroglyphs, basically, and saying,
piecing together
based
what
on
he
what
can,
based on what I can piece together, things look great here.
Right. Or at least there's enough differences, you know, that...
And the guy basically does the smart thing. He says he questions his things. How did you know the truth? And he says, isn't it staring at isn't it in the face? I know it because I believe in our founder,
Right.
Ymir.
Yeah.
In the end, it comes down to what you believe, what you perceive about the world,
Right.
how
And-
you interpret
Yep.
it. This is like actually really important good stuff
And it
that
ends
they're
up
going
being
into here.
some pretty crazy fanaticism that
We're the chosen children We're the chosen children of God.
It's like, wow, how many horrible things have been done, you know, when people say that,
claiming that we're the chosen ones.
Because the problem with that, there's nothing inherently wrong with that and believing you have purpose and everything.
Sure, totally.
But the thing is that once you think that you're basically you're just inherently in the right, then you maybe stop questioning the things that you're doing, and you might be above reproach, and
hey, their situation right now,
it's totally understandable
awful.
why they would.
It's
do
horrible.
This. Yeah, exactly. It's the one thread they have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The interesting thing, though, is that on some level, the idea of basically the sins of a people's forefathers and
being
ancestors and stuff being held against them as you deserve this. Now, here's the thing. I would understand if on some level it was the thing of like, you don't understand. The whole thing of basically like what the guy said at the end here, which I think is very telling. Let me jump ahead to that really quickly. Is when the guy is basically, he gives the monologue when Grisha asks him why? And he's all like, well, like, you know, it's like, it says, you know, if only you weren't Eldians. Basically, he has no animosity towards the individual of Grisha.
Right, exactly.
He's basically just saying, well, it's because you're Eldians.
Right.
If you weren't, then this would be a...
Yeah.
It's not even because of the fact of what they did in the past.
Right. It's the idea that with just a little bit, just some random thing happening, suddenly they turn into this monstrous, mindless killing machine.
Yep.
It's understandable that people would freak out and be like, let's keep them in a quarantined area so we make sure that doesn't happen. Or if it does, it's easy to contain, you know.
This is basically the plot line of X-Men. This is the plot line of every single superpowered thing where it's like, you guys have something about you that breaks our society, basically.
Yeah, it breaks our entire understanding of the world and how it works and throws everything into chaos.
So evolutionary desire to survive and stuff like that, they turn to the basest level of survival, which is every alternative other than extinction is preferable.
Right. It's the same reason why people were freaking out over Eren once they're like, oh, he can turn into a Titan. Like, think about it. The whole fear that all the people inside the walls had about Eren is literally the exact same fear that the Marleyans have of, you know, the Eldians, right?
Yep. So they turn to basically genocide and internment camps, and I'm actually quite astonished that they haven't just killed them all. So on some level, this is maybe what my thought is regarding why they haven't done that yet, is because on some level they're actually in cahoots with communication with the
Paradis.
King, with Paradis, and they have basically a little bit of an understanding regarding not just the threat that the king made, which I love that. I'm going to jump to that really quick. Yeah. Whereas he says, if you attack, what did he say?
I think a little bit
earlier, or is it later? I'm pretty sure
it's late. It's later.
Oh, it's way later.
Wait,
no,
it's
here.
Yeah,
here it is. So it says, the King of the Walls left this warning behind 80 years ago. If you ever interfere with that, the millions upon millions in the walls of Titans in the walls will flatten the entire world. Which, all right, I had never considered this. But let's think about actually the scope of the city. They have actually given us in the past, I don't remember where it was or when it was, but I remember people did like videos on like how big the walls are, how much square footage of land they had inside
and especially
the walls
with Wall Maria, like they had farmland out there.
It was a nation.
Yeah,
it wasn't a city.
Exactly. The cities were those little pimples on the outside of the walls. Yeah.
So the walls could hold unlimited number of titans.
Like,
and
here's stupid amounts.
And here's the other stupid amount thing. Every wall pales in comparison to the amount of titans that are underneath the city. Because the entire city is a bowl. Do you guys remember the freaky in-between transition text story where the guy tried to dig and he ended up encountering a wall underground? The titans are not just in the walls. They're underneath the very ground. And why would that only be in like an individual city? Like a little pimple city on the outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's to say it's not the entire area underneath that? Then you have to take the entire...
ridiculous.
Then millions of titans actually make sense.
Right. Well, and think about it. Not just millions of titans. Millions of wall-sized titans.
Well, it doesn't matter how big they are. It honestly doesn't matter.
I mean...
No. I know, but it honestly doesn't matter.
At that point, it's just a win more condition.
It's just a thing of, yes, a lot of them could be that size, but it doesn't matter. The idea is that it's a nuclear device end the world card that if played, everyone loses, except the one who controls all the titans.
Hence why they're like, we need to get the founding titan back.
So basically, as long as this threat exists, they says none dare to confront him, which means, in my opinion, they have a constant connection point. So it's essentially the same thing as like...
well, it could be, but it could also just as easily be something of the leave us alone. Because this is the other thing. The king knew about it, right? Yeah. There was the whole idea of whoever inherited the founding titan gets the memories, and suddenly it makes sense why they didn't want to defeat the titans, right? Yeah. Because they need them. Yeah. But no one else knew. Rod didn't know. It was just whoever got the founding titan. Yeah. So if there was something like that, it would have to be something that somehow the person who has the founding titan is doing on their own.
Right. In some ways, they need a perpetual piece to be established here so that they never have to worry about pressing the button. Yeah. So in some ways, they're thinking about not just the Eldians, they're thinking about the Marleyans as well. So this god titan in human form, basically, the founding titan, is thinking about every human being on this earth in some ways. Right. We can't go into a world war.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my god, this show. So, let's go back to Sanity here. We have this whole thing of where there's then a mission carried out where they then send, Reiner and
Bertolt and Annie and the other guy
to go obtain the founding titan, which is cool. That makes sense and stuff. But now this also, the idea of there being 9 titans basically says, okay, so now there's what do we have there?
You can count them off.
6, and then we have the 7th one, which would be the backpack titan, since that is a person in a human. Because
we've got
in a human.
Reiner, Annie, Bertolt, Ymir, and the person that she ate.
I basically just counted them as that, and then Aaron, and then
Zeke,
the founding titan,
and the founding titan. Yeah.
So that's 7,
and then backpack titan,
and backpack titan. So we still have a 9th titan that hasn't been explained yet, and that's kind of cool. We have something still left in the in reserves here, and I think on some level actually that's something that's a little bit terrifying, is that Marley didn't really leave much behind in terms of protection, like unless that one remaining titan is like a really good titan.
Or Eldia?
No, I'm talking about Marlians that sent their mission group to go retrieve the founding titan. They sent 4 of their 5 titans. Sorry,
4 of their 7.
6.
4 of their 7.
7?
Yeah.
Oh, right, because I'm already skipping ahead to when Armin...
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, so, yeah. And then the Beast Titan. I keep forgetting about the Beast Titan,
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but the Beast Titan seems to be one that's, again, it's Zeke. So it's Grisha Yeager's
Son.
kid.
Oh, yeah. So Zeke isn't super old.
Wait, that's actually a good
he's
point.
definitely older than Eren by quite a bit, but and he's got the beard and everything. Also,
he looks a lot older than...
It's the beard.
It is the beard.
It's the beard.
Probably,
And also the two Titans that had like beards other than good old Jesus Titan or whatever
was Grisha's old Titan.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When he was eating Rod Rice's family and stuff.
Yep.
There.
It's like they're in some less than subtle ways putting that in there. And the fact that at the end of season 2, when they show Zeke for the first time, you don't really see him. You just see this guy with hair and a beard and glasses. Like, the glasses were very much a focus. It's like, who's like the one other person in this show that has glasses? I mean, technically there was a what's her face, the white I think it's more chick in the beginning, but
yeah, I don't really see that as being foreshadowing. That seems more like a thing of where that seems more like a thing of where it's like, this guy's such good control of his Titan, he can wear glasses.
Right. Yeah.
Like, it used to be weird that people could have their ODM gear still work in between Titan transformations and stuff. Like freaking Annie was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna hop out of my Titan and go into ODM gear. Like, it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, Eren would have so much problems just getting out of his Titan once he was done.
Right.
She's just hop in, then hop back out, and hop back in.
Well, the real question is, how does Reiner get out of his Titan? No, but
okay. So let's still go in with all the stuff they reveal here, because this is actually crazy. Zeke then betrays them. The tying that back into the thing that he did with his father is crazy. Now the thing is still that Grisha's thing didn't turn him against his family. Literally, it had him basically just forsaking their teachings.
Right, exactly. He sided with Grisha's parents.
Exactly.
Hence, sometimes things skipping a generation in families and whatnot. Like, who knows?
But now here's the thing, Jacob. Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Next level thing. What if Zeke, ever since that day, regrets what he did? What if Zeke basically in this is just a theory I wanted to touch upon.
Maybe
No. Here's the thing. At the very least, shame. The idea of, even at the very least, the shame was that he was connected to them. Because did you ever see Man in the High Castle?
Yeah.
Okay. You know how
only the first season, but yeah.
Okay. Do you know how the son had the debilitating disease and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yep.
And you know the worry basically there is of him potentially
being discovered.
Not only being discovered, but him potentially being so loyal that he actually
would give his son up.
Give his parents up because they're because they're trying to basically break the law here.
Oh, gotcha. I never saw it as being a thing like that.
Okay. Yeah. You should watch season 2 then.
Oh, okay.
There's some interesting things going on there.
Gotcha.
I think that's something that could be eating away at Zeke in the older form, is that even if it started out as shame in that regard, I could see it moving towards shame of being like, it doesn't matter, I'm still a devil. Like, I did horrible things there. Like, and on some level, this is the other thing, he was an honorary Marleyan, He was made into basically a like, it worked.
Yeah. What did they say exactly?
Yeah, they basically said that there was there's still a way for us. We'll have my son Zeke become a Marleyan warrior. Oh, warriors as well. That's the whole Reiner Bertolt thing. We're warriors. We're not soldiers. It's like everything the Marleyans is telling you is wrong. Now I'm trying to remember. They had a point. This is it. Yeah. This is it. Where they take the picture. As the world rapidly became...
Listen up, Eldians,
We'll be selecting warriors from various zones around the continent.
Yeah.
It says the Marley government needed subjects of Ymir.
Right.
Oh, wait a minute. That's interesting.
Eldians are subjects of Ymir.
Yeah. If chosen, their family will be granted the title of honorary Marleyans and to serve as vessels for the Nine Titans become Marleyan warriors. So that's another thing I wanted to bring up. Are they basically saying that they need Eldians in order to become the shape-shifting Titans.
Because they need to have the blood of Ymir, so that way they can be given the Titan spinal fluid in order to become Titans.
So Marlians can't become Titans.
Correct.
Oh my god!
Which maybe explains a little bit of why they were so like, yeah, let's just kill off the Eldians and turn them and everything because that's something we don't understand and we also can't be a part of. We can't really control it unless we try and control them, right? Yeah,
they're all gonna turn then. That's the thing. That's where this show basically comes down to it, is that they're all chosen ones in that regard. Well, they all have a destiny to basically set their people free. And yet they've all
but
been...
who's their people is the question.
Well, of course, Jacob, but that's the real story here, is that you have brainwashed child soldiers. Wait a minute. You know what I'm thinking now, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have to say anything, do I? I'll be careful.
The idea of child soldiers is something that when done properly is suitably terrifying. And the thing is that, you know, again, even with what Grisha did with Eren,
this is Moses.
It was again. Well, sure. But it was again the thing that he did with Zeke and his parents did with him, where he's like, you have to do this now. You know, here's the key, here's the injection, you must save everyone, you know.
Oh my gosh. This is actually insane, because think about this, y'all. Think about this. We have Annie, Reiner, and Bertolt. We've spent a good chunk of time with them, more so Reiner and Bertolt than Annie, because of Crystallis reasons. But here's something that's a little interesting, you know? Just a little something, you know?
Yeah.
Is that they have this whole thing of, we're sent here on a mission. But remember when they said, Reiner, if you don't succeed, they'll have someone else take your armor. These kids are not only under basically the threat of death if they fail, they're not even enemies necessarily of the people. Bertolt's whole things of, you guys are devils, it's just because of who you are, and him kind of just crying about basically the whole thing is basically him saying, I know what I'm doing is horrible. I have to do this because you guys, because his brainwashing, because they basically have put extra emphasis in making sure that Bertolt, for one, as an Eldian then, understands that his people deserve this.
Well, but here's the thing. Then there was his final conversation where he basically says, I realize now, you guys haven't done anything wrong. Right? But I still am going to kill you. You know, it's the thing of, he made his choice, right? You know, it's the thing of, he was... They probably didn't expect that they would have to go undercover the way that they did, right? Or at least for that long, or whatever, you know. But
maybe they were told that the mission will be easy because you guys are chosen ones, and you guys.
If Eren hadn't shown up, it probably would have been a lot simpler.
But they still
got into the military before Eren and everything, but they were originally just gonna all go into the military police, and we're like, cool, we'll get into the capital, we'll get close to the king, you know, and then we'll get the founding titan and we'll get out, right?
But I think they didn't understand the divide even within the walls, basically, of how certain people were just not aware of certain things. So they maybe expected it to be a more hostile environment for kind of them, when in actuality is a hostile environment for everyone.
Right, and the fact that they were able to just go in with the refugees made things pretty simple.
Well, no, I'm talking about also that the Titans themselves are not the ability for people to turn into Titans is not something that's common knowledge.
Right, exactly, yeah.
It's something where it's like, oh yeah, we don't, what?
Well, right, because the idea is that there's only 9 people out there that can actually willingly turn into Titans and out of Titans and stuff.
So I'm just saying, it's ambitious to think they would have ever found one person who is basically trying to death to make sure to hide their Titan ability.
What do you mean?
Especially if it's someone high up in the echelons of the government.
They just assumed it was the king.
Well, that's such a big assumption, too. it makes sense why they would want to be then military police.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah.
And if they, didn't, then they, maybe find out. But the idea is that the person who has the founding titan would be in some pretty apt position of power.
Right. So then, this is another thing I found to be kind of interesting then, is if they're going after the king, right? Mm-hmm. Then, when they find out that it's Eren, that at the very least Eren is a person that can shift into a titan. They actually don't know that he has the founding titan thing yet.
Well, they do once. Well, that's what they basically call the coordinate.
Right. But once that's in season 2.
Right.
I'm talking about why Reiner and Bertolt joined the Scouts.
To keep an eye on Eren, because they're like, oh, he's another one of the titans, right? And that's something that's being just sort of proudly displayed and things like that,
right? I think there's something even worse that went on there. I think that Annie stayed focused on the mission. I think that Reiner had already snapped because of the whole Bertolt situation. Because the Marco situation. The Marco situation happens directly before they choose their squad.
Yeah, because originally.
And Bertolt had to join the Scouts in order to keep checks on Reiner.
Sure.
And basically is now fiddling with 3 things at once. He's got his hand on trying to be like, we need to somehow at some point touch base with Annie so that we can do the mission. But I also need to keep tabs on Eren. And I also need to fix Reiner's whole situation here. So the mission was so boned from the beginning.
Right.
Like, the whole idea.
They lost the Titan before they even got to the walls.
Yeah. Like, their whole thing was so screwed up from the beginning. It's just, this is, and now Bertolt's dead. And hey, at the very least, we might get some Reiner focus at some point, so that'll be good. But the whole thing of them being brainwashed child soldiers, I think, works so well for the themes of this whole thing because all of them potentially then could have a turning point where they either remember or on some level they're all connected to this idea of the mythical Ymir, right? And that's where probably all the why am I remembering this now is because they don't have the full piece of it. They're not of royal blood. They don't have the founding titan.
Yeah.
But
Armin will remember Bertolt just staring longingly at Annie, and and then we can have the Armin and Annie ship actually happen.
Wait, actually that's an interesting point. When they mentioned the idea of Ymir remembering and she's like, no, I don't remember.
She was talking about when she
ate their friend.
Yeah.
So I don't think she actually... There's not necessarily a thing of where they would remember things from the past. That's more of a specific keyed thing to the coordinate and royal blood, specifically. Because Eren remembers stuff from the past because of it just seems like they made that distinction when Bertolt and Ymir were talking as Eren was getting choked out, is that he's like, do you remember, anything about the person you ate? And she's like, no, I don't, I'm sorry. And he's like, that's okay, it doesn't look like Eren does.
It was the same for us.
It was the same for us, and stuff. Yeah. And that whole thing, I think, would lead me to assume then that it's not that. Never mind, that it's not that. It's that if you have some tie to the royal bloodline of some kind, like.
But Eren doesn't actually have tie to the royal blood.
Well, he has the coordinate.
No, but that's a separate thing.
But for some reason, he is remembering things, though.
Right. I think it's that everyone can remember.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
If it's everyone that can remember that,
but it's not perfect memory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I will revisit that as they give more info for that, because I think that's huge for the future of the story. The idea of who remembers what and how.
Well, and also, what will remembering change, if anything? Because the thing is, because the thing is
so
like
much.
The whole idea of people remembering, right? Who's to say that they will end up like being like, we're actually Eldians, so we'll change our minds and we'll you know, we'll fight alongside you guys, you know.
Jacob, I'm just saying, like, I know you can't really give anything here, but from my perspective, it's going to change everything. So let's move on, because there's so much that's not really clear there. There's this interesting bit where they talked about military technology advancing, and then they showed basically the industrialization and
though Marley leads the you know, or whatever is, you know, the current most powerful force in the world because of the power of the Titans, that won't last for long, you know,
because they're getting basically fossil fuel technology.
Right.
We're in like
planes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny, because we started off with the kid. They were showing Zeppelins.
Yep.
Then in the next image there, they showed biplanes
and steamboat dreadnoughts and.
Well, this is something actually that's a callback to a certain type of boat that existed. Or? Yeah, the ironclads that existed in the Civil War. Now, these are two very distinct time periods and stuff, but if we can assume basically that, you know, this is around the turn of the 20th century here, that, you know, that
right.
You know,
well, and at the end, when the owl uses the Titan and everything and crushes the boat, like, and they had a shot of the bay, like with the wall and everything.
Yeah.
And that boat,
let me go to that
boat had a, you know, it didn't look ancient.
No, it had a steam engine on it and stuff. Yeah. But it still doesn't look like still doesn't look like fully modern.
Oh yeah, totally.
It looks like, if anything, that we're dealing with something in the early to middle 20th century now. At middle 20th century would be the latest. Okay, so now that we've got, I would say, all this backstory out of the way,
they'll end up developing nukes, you know, soon.
Oh my gosh. The crazy thing, though, is that they showcase all these Titans as being like, yes, these are real Titans that you saw in season 1 and season 2.
Yep.
It's just,
yeah.
Oh my god! Just looking at this shot of seeing the Titans there, it's actually just disturbing to think that they were wandering around for that long and then ended up being a part of the invasion and stuff. And
yeah, and like the jumping one that just all of a sudden like did, and then yeah.
So then we have Dina being injected here.
Yep.
And Owl basically makes sure that he doesn't say anything about the royal blood.
Right.
Which is interesting, because on some level the Owl doesn't care about saving her.
And it's like, why? Like, is it because he wants her to get turned into a Titan and sent off to the walls? But like, what would that help?
What does that gain? If anything, this is something that I found to be an actual genuine thing that requires explanation. Look at this from the Owl's perspective here. He's about to give his life to someone. In this case, Grisha. Probably because Grisha, he saw maybe something in the kid even when he was younger.
Sure.
And now he sees him here and he's like, okay, so that something was real. And he had probably been just hearing things about the whole organization and stuff through, you know, his just, you know, watching them and stuff. But if he wanted to, he could have turned into a Titan right here, killed everyone. There's nothing stopping him from doing that. In fact, it would be easy for him to do it before any of these people get turned into Titans.
So why didn't he?
I think part of the reason why is he wanted to push Grisha. I think he's cold. I think he's basically saying, Grisha, I'm about to kill myself for you. Like, I don't have much, you know, humanity left in me.
Exactly. There's Since I'm already going to die, I don't have a problem with making sure that my death brings about the desired effect.
Yes, and I think that their deaths also were supposed to bring the desired effect here. Her giving these things of, no matter what form I take, I promise I'll come find you. That will etch into Grisha's mind for the rest of his life. That will burn a hole into his brain of just trauma and pain.
Oh, yeah.
And then him watching her transform, just the anguish on his face is so beautifully animated.
Yep.
And then, you know,
and then
of course,
Eren wakes up.
It's so traumatic, it actually wakes
Shocks Eren out of the
from
dream.
The dream and stuff. And we see bedhead Mikasa, which is just gorgeous. And then he goes back into the nightmare, aka his dad's memories. And I love the transition of his face becoming Grisha's.
Yep.
It's just so good.
And I love the fact that they have the fields of sand, you know, and the ocean and things like that.
Right at the
basically
end.
in the same place, right? You know, the idea that book Armin had.
Yeah. So,
you know, makes sense why it was banned by, you know, the police and everything.
For sure. For sure. Again. All right. So, they have this whole monologue here where, not Kruger, the other guy, the sergeant major, basically.
Major Gross, I think.
Yeah.
Was his actual name.
Seriously. Basically was going to have him, you know, fight a person that was turned into a Titan and stuff. And he's like, I don't, you know, enjoyment out of this? No, it's just interesting. It's like, it's because of me losing my touch with humanity? No, it's just, I am living the proper mind, in the proper mindset for, life. That's just how things are and stuff. And it was something that, made
it's
me
educational
grow.
having my son's dogs eat your sister.
This world is cruel. And he is he is a piece of that. And then, he basically gives the "if only you weren't Eldians." Look, that's your people's true form, and that basically changes out everything.
It's this wonderful contradiction, because they could have just turned him into a sick asshole, right?
Well, he is,
which he is, right?
Yeah.
But then they have, from the same mouth of that sick asshole, give you the line that basically helps you understand the crazy things that people do when they're afraid. It's this commentary on humanity in general, because it would be so easy to basically say, this is all unrealistic and cartoonishly evil stuff, because because it's all people that feed children to dogs and things like that.
Yeah.
But when you dehumanize someone like that, which is, hey, it's how they survive, but when you do something like that, you open the door to all sorts of horrible, despicable, inhuman things that are suddenly now on the table because, well, that's something else, right?
And that's one jump in. One connection jump there.
There's a reason that World War II happened. As horrible and awful as all the stuff that happened in there was, it doesn't take much to get people there. That's why it happens so much in history.
Yeah. Yeah,
and
it's happened many times.
Right.
And here we go. We have him basically going with that's the wish of humanity everywhere.
Yeah.
And then
Of course I don't feel remorse.
Yeah, but then the way Grisha kind of goes, what did you... And then he doesn't let him finish. He says, of course you don't remorse. You're the murderers here. What were you planning to do once you won, basically?
Yeah, exactly.
And then and it's something that
what
it's
were
like...
you going to do to us?
Yeah, absolutely. That's yeah. Since your history is so grand, go and share it with your friends down below.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. This is where he starts to indulge in his, in his thing there. Now, the way that Owl basically just casually just pushes him off the edge, and he dies here. I think that's telling us also, again, how he's basically saying this is the final part of the mission, basically. I'm going to turn into a Titan to show you how it's done. I'm going to kill everyone here.
Yep.
And in some ways, actually, this is something that's kind of interesting. This might have been their signal that, things were up.
that we need to
escalate and do the mission as soon as possible, because they lost contact with Riker Alpha, Riker Alpha 4, basically. It's something where it's like, okay, this base stopped sending in messages. Well, people didn't return for
the ship went missing. That's
your clue. The jig is up.
Well, and the idea that basically 10 years after which could be when the next batch, basically, of child soldiers are ready and indoctrinated.
Because they have to be indoctrinated, trained, and built up, and all that. And also, in some ways, they have to teach them ODM gear.
What?
This is something that I've been waiting for them to bring up. Is that ODM gear is something that they actually teach the kids, because they have spies and stuff, and they maybe get them prepped and everything for like this, so that when they go into the area there, they might.
No.
That's a dumb idea.
No.
Okay.
Zeke, when he sees ODM gear for the first time, he's like, "What's this?"
Yeah, but he could just be out and about and doing things and stuff like that.
No.
Okay. All right. My theory is pretty dumb. All right. Whatever. So that's the episode. The things that this recontextualizes, though, goes beyond just the the simplest stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like to you 2,000 years in the future.
It's
that's
like
the beginning.
That's what
the
the
beginning of the first
called.
episode.
Like that. Yeah. It's yeah. It's kind of crazy. Yep.
We have basically an Evangelion beginning already, which means we're going to have an Evangelion end. So I was right. We're going to go full Eva at the end of this show, because we have basically already the ending of the show kind of told to us. We have the beginning being the devil of all Earth was made to deal with a human, Ymir Fritz, who was an Eldian, I'm guessing.
The whole idea,
royal bloodline.
The whole idea of Eldians comes from just Ymir.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is brings up the whole idea of bloodlines and stuff like that. How that means who she had her first kid with wasn't anyways. The bloodline thing, the idea of that her child is already half of the royal bloodline.
Sure.
Meaning even the slightest bit of, because what they're talking about is not like where her family is involved in this. It's her. She is the source.
And then there's the 9 other people that inherit her spirit or whatever when she dies, right?
Which could just be her 9 children. I take all this super loosely.
Okay. So
yeah.
9 Titans.
Yes.
From them and from Ymir, that's where all the Eldians come from.
Yes.
Right? They're descendants of those people.
Yes.
The royal bloodline is just the people that are specifically descendants of Ymir.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, okay.
I know. Yeah. And I'm saying that if you want to go the route that they're kind of setting up here with the idea of the Eldians being the oppressed race that have a mythical origin.
Uh-huh.
The Jews, they have their mythical origins and stuff. God granting them the gifts and stuff like that. 12 tribes, 9 Titans.
Yeah.
It's all just the children of one of their oldest ancestors and stuff. So I think that it's basically this whole death spirit transfer, all that stuff. That's kind of just a hoobity-ha thing to potentially be that she had 9 kids, maybe.
No.
But why are you refuting that idea?
Because, Caleb, then literally every Eldian would be of royal blood.
But we don't know that every...
No, that's how it would work. Like,
I think you're inferring something here that the show is not inferring. Are you inferring that every Eldian came from her blood?
No. I'm saying that every Eldian came from either her or the 9 other Titans that, inherited her spirit after her death.
That's not being said here in the show. I don't think that's being said here in the show, Jacob. It says, upon her death, the spirit was split into the 9 Titans who formed the Eldian Empire.
After they ruled over the continent. Thus began the Dark Ages.
Okay.
After defeating the Great Nation One and ruled over the continent, thus began the Dark Ages. Subsequently called other races into the inferior and began to oppress them. They stole their lands and forced other races. Yeah, they said.
Yeah, they're telling basically
to bear their
Marleyan...
children. Yeah, they forced other races to bear their children. Eldians.
So, okay. I think this theory should maybe, unless there's something where you can show directly contradicts this, I don't think there's anything that shows necessarily that the stuff with her means that the royal bloodline and the Eldians, meaning that all Eldians are of her blood. I just don't see that here.
This is the 3rd time I've said this. Eldians are not all directly blood of Ymir. Otherwise, they would all be the royal bloodline.
Right, and I
They're
don't
blood
think...
of the other 9 that inherited the power of the Titans.
Okay. All right. So, basically, those 9 had to have some kind of disconnect from Ymir.
Right.
They cannot be a blood relation between them and the 9 Titans, is what you're saying.
Right.
Because then they would all be royal blood.
Exactly.
Okay. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. I'll just keep those theories to myself. The other thing I think that needs to be kind of talked about here is that the whole aspect of having basically Grisha, Zeke, and Dina being kind of the original kind of 3 of this whole original plan and stuff like that means that not only did Grisha basically was set up in the story as being kind of the original OG protagonist and stuff.
Very similar start to Eren.
Some point he either failed, lost faith, or something happened that made him give this up to Eren. And there's really no reason for that at this point. He's making the same mistake all over again. He's putting everything on Eren.
Absolutely.
So I don't get it. There's a flaw in the code basically.
We
here.
still haven't caught up to where we are in the show.
Well, totally. We haven't.
The connection hasn't been made. There's a path that needs to be made.
But the thing is that path needs to be made because if they're going for the angle that Grisha still hasn't learned this, Grisha's not a good guy. And in some ways, regardless of what the reason was, he's still making the same mistake.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So, here's the part of this that I think is really cool. Let's try and bring this all back to Eren, Mikasa, Armin, our main characters and stuff right here.
Right.
They're caught in a battle, a war even, that they don't really know the enemy of yet. They don't really know them. In fact,
they're starting to.
In fact, they've technically never met the enemy. Think about that. Every
of just Marlians.
person they've killed that was a Titan,
they were all Eldians.
All Eldians. So it's worse than them being Titans are people that you're killing and you're killing humans. It's you're killing your own people,
your own kin,
your own family, basically.
Yeah.
And you don't really need to go too in depth into the things of the idea of the identity, basically, of your race and stuff, because every person is their own person.
We're all people,
We're all people, we're all individuals. Exactly. Just because you have so-and-so as your father or mother doesn't mean anything inherently about your choices.
Right, but with Bertolt, they killed Bertolt, and he was a child soldier who was just raised, probably, in much the same, way as what happened with Zeke of, this is just how you'll keep your family safe and everything, and you'll get a better life for them. They'll be able to be honorary Marlians and stuff, and
it's actually something that hurts inside, because for me to think about how they're setting up the story to be where Eren and Armin and the whole scouts and everything like that, Levi and all of them are basically going to leave the walls eventually and be like, all right, we're going to go scout and do our duty and figure out what's going on here. They're going to encounter a big wall of water and realize, well, crap.
Yeah.
Okay. Now where do we go? Well, on some level, they'll probably, look over the perimeter and they'll eventually come to the south side where this outpost is, because it's obviously one that they reclaimed at some point.
Right, they would just let 10 years pass and not send another boat.
well, that's where Annie, Reiner, and
Exactly.
Bertolt came from. So they ended up using that whole outpost as well.
Which is why I was so mind blown at the beginning of season 3 when they start showing Eren at the ocean.
Yeah, but there's nothing around him.
No, I know, but
it's just the ocean.
No, I know. Like from the perspective of like, yeah, people who don't know what's out there, they're anime onlys. They won't be too blown away by it. But as a manga reader,
I was pretty blown away.
Well,
I was we're actually going to get there this season.
Right.
I just didn't know what there meant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as a manga reader being like, wait, hold on. We're going to get all the way to here. Like, cuz think about it. At the beginning of season 3, we hadn't even taken over the government yet. Like so much stuff has happened over this last season. It's kind of ridiculous.
It doesn't really feel like it in terms of actual story, though. Maybe it's
probably
just because
they made it so fast.
Maybe it's just because they made the first half so fast. But even then, we still have 2 more episodes to go, Jacob.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't seem like it's that much, really.
Oh,
because this was kind of a hyper condensed backstory kind of setup of basically just giving us the explanation of what's really going on in the world. Extending the idea of the basement reveal and what does that mean and all the things there, which is awesome. Like, can we give a shout out to Attack on Titan for building a world that, while I'm certain this whole thing was obviously something he didn't have perfectly planned out
from the very beginning. Which is why the first half of season 3 needed to be condensed, probably because it's like, okay, so now I need to get to the point where I actually explore all that other stuff. Okay.
But you can tell then that the beginning of season 3 in some ways is basically, or even the beginnings of things with regards to Reiner and Bertolt once they started going that, led into this kind of stuff here. In fact, now that I think about it, the anime handles it brilliantly because of the Ymir backstory.
Well,
I think the Ymir backstory part is actually one of the most genius parts of this whole thing, is it gets you thinking about all the things that happened with Ymir in the past, like the idea of Ymir being able to read off of the canned food and stuff like that.
Because this was
the idea of basically the long period of time, the idea of the injections in turning her into a Titan and stuff like that. The idea that some people out there had control of the whole idea of how Titans were being
because in the
introduced
manga,
into the environment and stuff.
In the manga, this was a much harder transition, and that and that on the one hand was awesome because it's this crazy reveal of no, what do you think's outside the walls? There's all kinds of stuff out there, and it's ridiculous. But then at the same time, it's a big tonal shift. It's like all of a sudden we go from we go from our rematch with Reiner and Bertolt and the Beast Titans there too, and Erwin has
hard
charge,
exposition.
To okay, so let's
Eldians
and Marlians,
the devil of the earth,
and the deal with Ymir and the power of the Titans and the Nine Titans, a lot of
capital nouns,
like it was just like
nouns.
Whoa, hold on.
It's a bit much. Now I think that the anime handled it really well because I was expecting a lot of this transition at some point.
Right, they prepped you for it,
especially with regards to just the idea of this other nation, this other city, this other group out there.
Right,
and now we have names, dates, places, things, and technology, and all that kind of stuff. But this goes so into so many crazy things, and I gotta say, what I'm looking forward to where they go into more of this, right?
Yeah,
is the idea of making the story a little bit more third person omniscient.
Okay,
because of the idea of we now having different timelines of stories and different backstories of characters and stuff like that tie into multiple angles on the whole narrative, like Ymir's backstory, Grisha's backstory. It's something where I want them to tell a story that goes beyond Eren.
Sure.
And having things be less about him being like, what is this? What's all this? And him reacting to the story, basically. Showcasing the meaning of his lineage and the curse or gift that he's been given, essentially.
Well, and think about his whole thing of like, I will, kill all Titans and whatnot. Now it's like, well, is that still your goal? Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, they don't even have to have it be one perspective anymore because the world's so big. They can have people in different places. Like they can do all sorts of stuff now. Well,
in some ways, you can't just bring Eren over there as quickly because on some level, there's the whole technology aspect. There's the whole aspect of, in some level, this has become a war of nations and peoples, not a fight for a boy's desire to have freedom.
Exactly, because he got
revenge.
By the time we get to the part of the first episode, in season 3, he'll have gotten to the ocean. He'll have fulfilled his dream. Right, there you go. And time to find a new dream, I guess.
And on some level, he might already kind of have casted aside a lot of his anger and frustration regarding the Titans because of the horrors he's had to experience.
Yep, that whole bit with him when Historia has the opportunity to eat him. Yeah, that was very real, and that was very, very good growth for him as a character. Yeah, towards the end of season 1, it's like it was kind of one note. Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, this is the other thing, though, is that this backstory they gave us to Eren because he was in his father's memories.
Right.
Again, we're going to need to revisit that whole memory thing.
And they can do it as often as they want.
Sorry. Yes, you're talking about how many times we look into the backstory stuff.
Right.
I'm talking about the mechanics of why can Eren remember any of that? Because I'm confused as to whether or not the memory is something everyone has access to, or if it's just people that have the coordinate, or is it just people that can actually use the Founding Titans' powers? Wait, I thought Eren wasn't able to use it, to their fullest extent, mind you.
Yeah,
We've tested this because we use this on other people that weren't the royal bloodline. That's how we can make this claim. I don't know about that, Rod Rice. I don't know about that.
It could be that it's just the Founding Titan. It could also potentially be that it's the fact that that there was that whole point where Rod and Historia put their hands on his back, and then he started remembering more. And that was when he really it could be that sort of like ended up opening the floodgates, kind of a thing, and suddenly now he's starting to remember.
I don't know why I didn't make that connection earlier, but that's exactly what happened with Dina Fritz.
Yeah.
There was a touch and
that was enough.
Stuff happened
for a limited amount, at least.
So
thankfully, Eren didn't accidentally tell all the Titans in the world to come out of the walls. That would have been a problem.
Yeah. We know that on some level, Eren can't use it to the fullest because it's something where he doesn't have the eyes. That's kind of the anime obvious thing of it.
If you don't have the eye power, are you really all
You don't really have the true Sharingan of the Titans. The thing that's still up in the air, though, is the idea of whether or not Eren using some of it is him using some of it, or if it's just the Founding Titan being the Founding Titan. Again, we'll need to revisit that theory, and that's what I mean.
Wait, if the memories of the Founding Titan and all that stuff created some sort of pseudo consciousness that inhabited his mind and
created basically something that bridges the gap between the royal blood, basically bridges the royal blood connection that's not there.
That would be insane. One of the things that I love about getting to this part in the anime is that I can theorize a little bit more because we're getting more towards the point where there's a lot of things that I don't know as well.
Okay. That's cool. That's cool. I mean, yeah, that kind of tells me in some things areas that you haven't got answers for, but
we're catching up to the manga.
Yeah.
There's still a ways to go, but oh boy,
I'm so excited. There's a season 4 in the manga, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
If it's one core, maybe if it's two, I'm not sure.
Gotcha.
Depending on the
cooler.
pace, they could turn back the throttle a little bit. You know,
I don't know. Maybe they're too drunk on that. They might not do that anymore.
I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah. So we have basically the battle lines, if you will, drawn. We have the Marleyans with Eldian child soldier titans on one side.
Yep.
And in some ways, we have multiple sides here in addition to that. We have the cult of the Walls and the Rice family, stuff like that. They're mostly all dead and gone and what have you.
Right.
But their group was basically trying to keep their people, essentially, under control.
Right. And they had no idea why exactly, other than just keeping people under control, but they trusted their god king.
Well, here's the thing I think that is pretty self-explanatory there. Is that there's bad blood, pun intended, a lot, between their enemies, the Marleyans, and themselves. And they don't want them to basically have some kind of external threat that drives them into a place where they could all be wiped out, or be forced to use the big Titan button.
Yeah. Do not push this button.
So we almost have an explanation at this point as to why the king, or the whoever had the founding Titan, like Frida, did nothing with regards to this.
Absolutely.
But if we go back to the one that was the friend of Kenny, he said that at some point in the future, this world will collapse. It will crumble. It will fall.
Yeah.
So also in another way, maybe it's all inevitable, not just in the past, or not just with regards to the current status quo, like it needs to stay this way and there's nothing we can do to change it, but also the future is going to go a certain way,
because
there's nothing we can do to change it.
Eventually we won't be able to keep the world at bay.
Or not only necessarily the world, in that technologically they'll just develop a nuke and drop a bomb on everything.
Yeah.
It's something where the human spirit also, in a way, might win out before that does.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we'll be forced to use the Titan button. But also, I think if that's a thing where the king is supposedly someone who is changed for the good, the better. If we assume the whole Ymir thing is actually a source of goodness and part of the transcendent aspect of humanity that goes into what makes certain parts of the soul of humanity or the spirit of humanity, like what part of it is actually good, It's our empathy, our love, our desire to basically look out for others, and not just the sense of community for the sake of bettering the overall, status for yourself, but the idea of sacrifice, the idea of giving something up for others. In some ways, kind of what they do when they transfer Titans is basically the
my ceiling will become your floor kind of a thing.
Yeah, there is some kind of dark kind of Christian undertones in there. The idea of eating of my blood and drink of my blood and eat of my flesh kind of thing.
I think that has connotations to a whole lot of things.
Oh, there's some other occult things going on in there as well. But a lot of religions have this idea of taking part in the idea of the God part, basically. The transcendent aspect of humanity.
And taking it into yourself.
And even in very much simpler cultures, the idea of juicing up on the goodness from the gods before you go to war, that's about as simple as it gets. Like they've been doing that with like fermented blood and stuff, and like weird cow's
or
milk
even
or
just
stuff
war chants or whatever you want to call
whatever
it,
yes, but the idea that that's something that might be the good part. If the king is someone, if the founding Titan one is the one that has the only last little vestige of that, it could be that they would never press the Titan button.
Maybe.
They're just saying they would because of the The desire to
Potentially.
keep, peace and
I'm not
action.
entirely sure where you got that part from, though, because
Wait, what part?
the whole idea of that they sort of become transcendently good or whatever.
Well, that's what Kenny's whole thing was. He said that they preached basically the goodness and love and all of these
Sure.
things about looking out for your fellow man, and he always saw that as being so alien, so
Right,
so something that doesn't fit in this
Yeah.
cruel world,
Right.
that he's like, what if I had that? Could I become a good person too?
Right, and the question is that something that how deeply does that run?
Oh, you're
And
saying whether or not that's true, or whether or not that's a deception?
whether
for
or
the
not it's
purpose
true,
of
whether
good
or not
things?
it's a deception, or basically all the stuff that the king had done over these years. We realized that it's okay because they have the perspective of the whole world, so they're like, okay, we need to stay here, we need the Titans
or at
to
least the memories
still
of
exist.
this world.
Right, exactly. But that is definitely it could have been thinking of the best interests of the entire world, or it could have been thinking of simply the best interests of this people.
If they were thinking about that, Jacob, I think they would use their god powers, unleash the Titans, and kill everyone that is a threat to their own people. That's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah, there's
If
definitely
they-
it's not that far.
It's not that far,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
And I would say also, on some level, this is one of the beautifully twisted things about a belief system, y'all. And this is something that I think Attack on Titan has at its core. When you get into the idea of what started this whole journey was Eren drilling the belief into his own mind of, I'm gonna kill every last Titan.
Well, and I'm gonna see what's out there.
Well, that in some ways was shoved down temporarily because the belief of that I have hatred within me for all these Titans, and it became less about seeing the outside world.
Yes,
and it became
absolutely.
about killing those Titans. Is that when a belief system encompasses you, it takes a hold of you and actually starts to change who you are. On some level, you have to admit that those things come from somewhere.
Okay.
Now, generally, it's a dramatic reaction to the environmental changes that you go through. So your internal state tries to react to them properly and rationalize
and
it.
having some sort of transcendent thing gives you an anchor that can't be broken or whatever by the things that happen in this world.
Right, but it's mainly you just trying to hold on to a semblance of sanity.
Ha 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 ha.
And I'm not even kidding here. This is this is.
It could also be just the idea that why didn't the Cold War end in the world getting nuked into oblivion? That even if people hate each other, the idea of am I going to push the nuke button?
Okay, I want to keep things in this
Okay.
show here for a second.
Okay.
The biggest thing we have to show that there's any kind of potentially good in this world is that kids, who are untouched by the cruel nature of this world can come up with dreams like this, right?
Yep.
But in a lot of ways, the dream didn't come from within themselves.
Okay.
The dream came because Armin had parents. Those parents had a book, and they let their kid read that book. A book they probably shouldn't have been able to give him.
Yeah.
And then those parents, where are they?
Dead.
Yeah. That book then goes from being something that just Armin consumes to then Armin tells Eren about.
Yeah.
That's the natural progression of the dream. It didn't originate with the parents, though.
Sure. Well,
Why?
Well, in some ways, the information didn't originate with
Right.
the parents, but the dream, did that come from Eren, or did that come from whoever wrote the book? Who's to say? Was that dream immortalized when they put pen to paper?
There's this debate, I would say constantly, the idea of nature versus nurture. Where does the things
Sure.
that make a person originate from? Is it something within their own nature? And then you could say that that's something that's kind of genealogical based on, you know, who their parents are and stuff. Or is it something based on nurture, the environment, and that brings them there? I think that this story just dropped a little bit of a fantasy bomb in the mythological origins of this whole setup here by saying that there was a moment where God, essentially the devil of all earth, and
some
Ymir
supreme
Fritz,
being,
and some original, you know, basically super person there was a meeting, there was a convergence of transcendent and then the mundane, and in that moment the destiny of humanity, or just everything,
the destiny of mankind
was determined. It basically started to move along a specific path. We can't, unless the story decides to, we can't go beyond that point for anything. We can't go earlier than that.
By its very nature, there's a beginning.
Yes. But it's such a simple mythological story, like, that it's something that if we have anyone that ties directly to that, which we do because of the founding titan potentially having the memories of this world, which I would say is basically just they have memories of the they're the avatar. They have the memories of all the past lives.
That takes it beyond the simple, because first you were talking about the whole dream with the book, but now you're talking about the founding titan. So something that goes beyond just the regular progression of people giving birth and having kids and talking to those kids and raising them and things like that.
Right. This is something that goes into the beyond, and yet it has a direct mechanic within the story to
connect it back to the present, and
something that could be spread naturally via people writing books, sharing stories and stuff like that. Now, I'm saying that primarily just because they had the whoever was the king or the queen or whoever preaching. They found that as being important. Like, I just see this as something where we are getting an individual entry point for the transcendent into the story, and a mechanic as to why it was spread.
The founding titan.
With the founding titan,
not with
connected
the book.
No. The book is a metaphor, Jacob, for describing the idea that dreams and the good transcendent part of humanity doesn't just come from within themselves or persist. Yes.
Yeah, right.
It has an origin point that is transcendent.
Sure, but that nature of humanity doesn't tie back to Ymir and, the taking the powers of the Titans. Humans have always been like that.
But we don't know that.
That humans didn't desire the transcendent?
We don't know anything beyond that point, is what I'm saying. And the one thing that we do know that is the nature of someone that has the power of the king, the power of the founding titan, is that they become something more. They have this aspect of them. They have this perspective about them.
They have the tether back to the all the stuff that happened before.
And they're able to look beyond the cruelties of the world and make decisions that seemingly just have no tie into the cruelties of this world. Like, they don't even care about it, really. But they also preach, basically, the goodness, the kindness, the love, the things that are the best parts of humanity.
It definitely is some pretty awesome commentary. The fact that with all that perspective and even with all the things that they knew was happening within the walls, that they didn't stop from happening. Like, Uri didn't keep Kenny.
Thank you. That was his name. Yes.
From doing Kenny's thing.
Yes.
Right, as part of their secret police or whatever. And yet he preached, love and acceptance and all these things, and it's like, and was that a facade simply to keep the sheep in check, or was it something where there was some crazy out there perspective that was gained by seeing things from such a distant point of view?
I would say it's very easy to put it in the yes, it's just something to keep the masses in check.
But what
and
if
there's
it's
probably
not?
And there's probably some aspect of it that it was that. It's usually a mix of the two, right? I would just say it's probably way more so the thing that is truly transcendent, because Kenny, someone who's the exact opposite of it, changed fundamentally it woke him up basically as being something that is beyond,
right,
and that he was speaking to a god, basically.
Right, it does something that doesn't abide by the rules of this world that we know
was existing in him, not just in the power that he had,
right,
the
right,
aspect of him being
but the effect of simply someone observing that, it changes things.
Yes, and the idea that him not having that still changed him because he experienced it via just connection. Just the most basic form of observation and experiential relationship.
Yep.
Like, I think that's Attack on Titan right there.
All you need is love.
But like, that's how they can have the crazy Evangelion type ending. Is it all basically ties back to the idea of connecting the transcendent, the Titan part, the beyond, to others, and letting people finally get a clue with the idea that this isn't about who did what in history. This isn't about perpetuating this cycle of violence and death and horror because we need to give recompense to the Eldians or the Marlians or whatever for their things or whatever like that.
Yeah, one other thing.
So,
we now know at the very least why the Oriental clan was persecuted.
Do we?
Well,
do we?
Wait, no, maybe not. No.
Did you like just almost like say something that you shouldn't have said?
Well, no, I was still thinking about the whole thing of like if all the Eldians were descendants from Ymir, but they're not. You know, it's the idea of if they were all descended from Ymir, then wait a minute, why is there a different race within the walls? Like,
well, I think
that wouldn't make sense.
Right. I think the simple answer specifically is that the Marlians basically put all the lesser races onto Paradise and punished them in the same way that when the Germans did their whole thing, it wasn't just the Jews.
It was also the sick and the elderly. And...
Yeah, they went all out on that. And basically, those are just the ones that survived, and they couldn't turn into Titans. Or no, well, that's dumb. No, the idea is that there's an encroaching empire, right? Mm-hmm. You take a whole large group of people and you flee to an island. They're not all going to be the same people. The world is a very diverse place and stuff like that. So there would definitely be some other races of people.
Hence why they can't be controlled by the
thing is
memory stuff, because they're not,
because they're not Eldians.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the big thing with that I get that makes me very happy is that Mikasa will never be a Titan.
Although she's an Ackerman.
Ackermans aren't Eldians, though.
They could be, because the thing is
they're not able to be controlled either, though. That's the point.
Yes, that's very true.
So they're not Eldians. Now they could have it be a thing where it's like the Ackermans made another deal.
Right,
with Ymir.
There was a separate thing that happened for the Ackermans. You know,
I don't really care. In my mind, my headcanon, Mikasa will never be a Titan.
Wouldn't that suck? If like, imagine if the whole conversation of who do we give the injection to happened, and like Mikasa was one of them, God forbid, you know, or Levi or something, and it's like, okay, Levi, Levi is a Titan. That'll be amazing. He'll just, you know, kill everything,
and nothing happens.
Yeah, it didn't work. Damn it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I really, really, really want the conflict to go broader. I think they can maybe showcase some more perspective from Zeke and Reiner's angle, because they're retreating back. You know, basically they failed horribly.
You have failed this city.
And on some level, that means the end of Reiner, which is...
So let me get this straight.
Buddy.
Let me get this straight. We sent you on a mission to recover the Founding Titan. Yes. You didn't recover the Founding Titan. No. You also lost 3 of the Titans that we sent over there.
Yes.
But we brought Ymir back. So you lost 2 of the Titans we said over there. There are only 9 of them. Yes. So you lost almost a quarter of this nation's...
And you doubled our enemy's power potential.
Right.
Which also, that's another interesting thing there. Eren has 2 Titans.
Yes, he does.
In 1 Titan.
I was wondering when you were going to clue onto that. Yeah. He is the founding Titan, and whatever the Titan was that Owl had.
Why didn't Marley ever do that? Why didn't they just make 1 super juiced Titan?
Probably because they're still an Eldian.
Because they don't want to give too much power to one individual Eldian.
It's like,
so they use all of them.
They don't want to just hope that their brainwashing worked.
Oh my god, that's the most twisted thing, is that if they keep the Eldians that they use as child soldiers...
Oh yeah, that's probably why they didn't kill them all. They need the internment zone so they can harvest more warriors.
Yes, definitely. That's the sickeningly obvious thing. But the messed up thing with regards to the idea of the why they never turned on them or anything like that is because they don't know who they can trust.
Oh yeah.
Because let's say one of them is like, hey guys, let's make a thing starting. And they're like, what did you say? And then like all like of them turn and look at the one. And that one basically just shrinks there and is like, and then they basically inform them on their manager and saying, this one's having doubts. And it's like, oh, really? Are you having doubts? They torture them.
Hey, Johnny.
Yeah.
Get next
ready.
in line.
Get ready. Yeah. That is so messed up.
And the other thing is messed up. And the other thing is that just in the same way that Reiner was able to forget it all while he was, in the walls as a soldier, they would all be able to just forget it all because they have a good life now. Their families are honorary.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Reiner is the perfect picture also of this whole conflict.
I love Reiner's
He's caught
character.
between 2 different worlds.
It's wonderful.
He's literally the perfect picture, in some ways even better than Eren, because in some ways Reiner has not only the Marleyan brainwashing stuff put into him, he has the third angle of it, which is the soldier within the walls,
right?
And then he's also by blood an Eldian,
right? He's truly seen both sides and been there, whereas with Eren, like, he's getting memories from Grisha, right?
Yes,
but he hasn't been on the other side. Not like been on the other side, like been in the internment zone. Like he hasn't been an honorary Marleyan. He hasn't lived that life.
Right.
So,
which is in some ways kind of reminding me a little bit of what they did with Suzaku in Code Geass.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a cool angle there. And I wish they went more into that and how
in
that
Code Geass.
Right, in Code Geass, and how that would break someone like Suzaku, because Suzaku goes through multiple breaking moments, like the part where he laughs as the insert spoiler happens. Laugh crying, basically.
Yep.
I wish that stuff had happened and been shown a little bit earlier, because he has the whole thing with his father and all that, and it's done well.
Right.
But to bring this back to Attack on Titan, if they go into that with Reiner, because he's still alive, for one, you can get some really cool things about how, well, he's not really long for this world, though, so there's that, too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
that's actually
you better really do a good job to make up for all your mistakes.
That's actually a really good point, though. If Zeke failed in this way as well,
then maybe it wouldn't all fall on Reiner, unless Zeke just wanted to throw Reiner under the bus.
Well, that's the thing, is that on some level, Zeke obviously is doing this with the third, the Backpack Titan, right?
Yeah.
And there's this kind of thing of like, okay, we cut our losses and we ran. But on some level, the way he's called the war chief, he's like their greatest,
like he's
or
like
whatever.
Squad leader, kind of, maybe.
Right. Oh my God, Jacob, this fits down to the numbers with your.
Well, not quite.
It's 1 and
not
6.
Quite.
It's the war chief and the 6.
Oh. Holy shit. Well. Okay, Soul is not Zeke. Let's be real. Let's be real. Soul is not Zeke.
No,
but
I mean,
I will say,
I don't know what Zeke is though.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah,
but But Attack on Titan was one of the huge influences that made me be like, I need to write this book. It ended up being Battle Lines.
Yeah, and it's a really good one, y'all. So there's some inspiration.
If you
taken.
like the child soldier thing and all of that, and and whatnot, and 7 total with one leader. Leader. That's interesting.
Because my thought is that if the war chief was there. He shoulders all of the burden.
Sure, maybe
of
like
responsibility.
Him and Backpack were basically sent in as like, there's been problems,
that's okay.
Keep
going.
There's been problems. It's been 5 years or whatever, and we haven't gotten results or contact or anything like that. You guys go in and see what's up, and if possible, salvage the mission and things like that.
I get a little bit of kind of a little bit of a thing though of, but wait. You're telling me that Zeke then in between season 2 and 3 like left, went back home, then came back here and had a new mission up until that point, basically?
What do you mean?
It doesn't make sense.
Oh no, the idea that when Zeke showed up on the island.
Yeah, probably in season 2.
In season 2, that was him arriving here.
Right. But I don't think that he left in between the... Remember when he goes back over the wall?
Right,
I don't think he went back to Marley then at that point. He probably basically just went to maybe reconnoiter and send a
that's probably what it was.
Or
just saying this is the status update, I saw this weird contraption that they fly around on and things like that.
Yeah, exactly. But there's the whole thing of then he basically fights Reiner and Bertolt in Shiganshina.
Right.
And is like, yo, we're not going to rescue Annie right now.
Right, we're keeping to the main mission.
The main mission here. Which, just
yep.
That on some level, this is another thing that's kind of lightly kind of just in there, and it's kind of easy to forget. But Ymir wasn't with them when they were fighting, Beast Titan and Shiganshina, Zeke and stuff.
Correct.
Which means, on some level, Ymir is the reason why they were actually in Shiganshina at all.
Yeah, right. Because the whole thing of the, If you fail, we're going to take your armor, Reiner. Someone else will take it. That was what Zeke said when they were on the wall. So here's the thing: if they went back to Marley and were allowed to go again, right, or at the very least made contact with the soldiers on the wall, turned over Ymir to them, and
Ymir went willingly. I don't know, man. She seemed to have a little bit of
she did choose to go with them, but
yeah, it's something that I've always wondered is kind of something that's just really sad. Is that Ymir was saying goodbye to Krista or Historia at the time, basically saying, "This is the last time I'll see you because I'm going to die." Like they're like my Titan, and essentially at that point was going to get reclaimed.
Ymir hasn't gotten the mental conditioning, so
she's not useful. She's not useful to them. No, she might be.
I mean, she might be, but
she
if
would
they
have
had to choose, they only have 7 of these Titans.
The odds are really against her that she could convince them of her worth, basically.
Right, exactly, because she's already been shown to not be fully dependable, a bit of a wild card, and they probably don't want that for, one of the few Titans that they have.
Yeah, and just the idea, though, that Reiner and Bertolt came back here, and their goal was to rescue Annie. You know what that makes me think? And it almost makes me want to cry. Is basically that they decided to just say F off, Marley. We're done.
Oh yeah,
We're done. We're just going to go rescue Annie. Screw the main mission.
Well, and they might not have told Marley that.
Oh no, of course they didn't tell Marley that. I'm saying that basically Bertolt agreed.
Sure, and then Zeke, could have been just going with them as their handler,
maybe,
to make sure that they got the job done. Or Reiner was having some tough
it was
trouble,
a thing of Zeke's in Shiganshina rendezvous with him, and basically they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna rendezvous with you," and then Zeke's like, "Yeah, now stay here," and he's like, no, we've
Right.
got something
Yeah.
we need to do that Marley told us.
Right,
And they're
the
like,
details of how that, how that all went down, how they got to that point, it could be up in the air, but yeah.
and
yeah,
then Zeke
Reiner-
basically has like a Raven's message or something that's just like, guess what? They told me that if you tried to leave or do anything weird or something like that, that I had well within my rights to
eat you myself
to
and
thrash you and eat you here.
yeah, exactly,
something like
and
that.
then yeah,
Or just to destroy you and then send you back.
right.
But instead, let's not do that. I'm the war chief here.
Right,
So
exactly.
what's going to happen now is I'm going to kick your ass.
Yeah.
And if you don't give up after that,
Yep.
then I will send you back. But when I'm done kicking your ass, then you'll see that there's no hope for you to do this. We are getting the coordinate.
Well,
we are getting back. And this is the...
Well, and the thing is that he didn't... It wasn't of whether they were going to rescue Annie. It's we're keeping the main priority. We're getting the coordinate first. Then we can talk about Annie.
Yeah, I think that was him smoothing over a bit of it here. I'm making
Sure.
Zeke out to be a little bit more dictatorial than maybe he was being shown on the show.
they call him the war chief,
Yeah, but he seems to have a very relaxed, kind of chill way of doing things. He doesn't seem to really worry for anything.
That could be because his Titan is so awesome. Like if he was able to thrash Reiner like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course Levi was able to put the fear of Ackerman into him, but
it really is interesting how we have all these different Titans.
Mm-hmm.
I had never really thought about the idea of why the Titans stick to one look, especially when there's mechanical benefits to certain Titans.
Oh, yeah.
The idea of that, why couldn't Reiner be a colossal Titan, right?
Right.
Was it because they needed an armored Titan? Not really, no. It's, if anything, the colossal Titan is way better than the armored Titan. We've seen the armored Titan get thrashed multiple times, and if anything, the Annie's Titan is one that's actually really good because it's faster, but it can apply the armor as needed.
Right. Although Eren still ended up, destroying
that's
her.
kind of because of where the fight was happening, not really because of what her Titan was, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think Annie was just in a bowl surrounded by this whole thing here. If that had been Reiner, it would have been worse because Reiner wouldn't have been able to turn into a crystal ball.
Well, sure.
Reiner would have just actually lost, in my opinion.
Right.
I mean, maybe he wouldn't have, but I think he would have.
It also kind of sort of maybe explains why the crystal thing happened. Now, this is just a theory of mine, but the idea that when Annie is exposed, right, she's crying, and now in the manga it was a lot crazier. She's like terrified. She's terrified and crying as opposed to like peaceful crying. And then suddenly, and it's like their bodies are fusing almost, and it's almost like maybe the founding Titan, whatever,
took the power from Annie.
Oh no!
And that's how Eren can harden.
No. He got the armor.
I know. I always saw that as being stupid.
Oh,
that was one of my opinion, one of the dumbest parts in the earlier part of season 3. Look, there's a random MacGuffin thing in here. I can use hardening things. Wait. Weren't they saying he was training on how to use hardening before he got the armor thing?
Well, he was
there?
trying to do it, but he wasn't able to because, whatever. And, but the walls were made of the hardening.
But they knew he could do it.
Well, the walls were made of the hardening stuff, so they assumed, but it wasn't working.
In my opinion, that's still one of the dumbest things.
It might not hold up to close inspection. I'm not entirely sure. And if the armored Titan is specifically one of the 9 Titans, then why did Rod have just a vial that...
Yeah.
Like if Eren did eat Reiner, what would change? But the theory that I had was that the founding Titan, that Eren was tapping into a limited amount of the founding Titan's power, and that's what made Annie's crystallization thing or whatever.
So she drew upon the founding Titan's power,
or Eren felt bad for her and
helped her,
right, unconsciously, because he wanted to save her. And all of that.
So he, in a limited sense, controlled her Titan to
something like that,
her so that she wouldn't have to deal with this trauma ever again. I love that. That's poetic. It's beautiful. I think there's many theories you can go with there, but I think that one fits because it puts the power in the hands of the founding Titan.
Right. And it's still like, could it just be like retroactively trying to make things make sense because it was more done for the shock value and things and the blue ball us rather than because of thinking of the founding Titan and the bloodlines and blah, 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 blah. You know, probably not. But I like it.
But God, I am missing probably so many things still. There's a lot of things I want to discuss with this, but I'm going to study this episode.
And the third season isn't even over. We still
it's
have
not even
two more
over.
Episodes, people. Two more episodes.
The way you were talking about, there's more backstory to get into here.
Well, I mean, yeah, they didn't fully connect the things. I mean, that was.
I mean, the big thing is they have to show the owl Grisha, basically deciding at what point he's going to have Grisha eat him.
Right. Yeah. And once I thought about it a bit longer, I was like, oh wait, nope, never mind. The thing that I thought happened at that point, I thought it happened before the owl turned into a Titan, but it's not. But yeah.
Oh, that's not something I'm supposed to know about, though.
No, I mean, we'll probably see it this season, I think.
Okay, gotcha. Y'all, this is one of the longest reaction discussions we've ever done.
It is the longest
in the history of our channel in terms of single episode reaction discussions. I don't know what to say. I am sorry for those of you that are like trying to find like a semblance of sanity with regards to how to watch our content and stuff. Last episode I said that if you stayed to the end, you're the true mad lads.
This is beyond
the absolute mad lads. We're going to have you basically say at this one, you are a transcendent mad lad.
Ah, yes.
If you watch the end of this one here, you're a transcendent mad lad. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Do you even participate in the comments though of Attack on Titan videos?
Maybe. I mean, not really.
Okay.
I mean, okay. I look at them.
Oh.
I look at them.
Must be nice to have that privilege, isn't it?
It is. It is quite nice.
All right.
It's quite nice.
So there's so much in here. This was literally the history of Attack on Titan. We have 2 more episodes left. There's a lot still we have to go into. There's a lot of things with how this is going to directly apply to our main characters, as how much of this information will be sent to the Hanji vacuum, and then Hanji puts it into her processing computer.
And we got Bedhead Mikasa. We got Bedhead Mikasa.
Bless this show. Studio Wit animating the glorious.
And to think that
glorious just woke up.
This
Mikasa
is going to be their last season animating Attack on Titan.
That's
so like
true.
after we get all of this craziness, like I hope it is done justice. Like how horrible would that be?
Read the manga.
Oh man, that would suck. That would suck so bad.
Especially really don't want it to end.
After all this crazy reveal that we've been waiting for 6 years. Like, Yeah,
I have the key now, y'all.
Yep, you have the key.
It's now mine. It's been passed on.
It's not needed anymore. Yep.
It's been passed on.
Yep.
So,
wow.
Y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. And also, just for following us along this Attack on Titan journey.
Oh my god.
We've both been on like our own different journeys with this whole thing here. But it's been a wild ride.
It has indeed.
And you guys didn't get to see our season 1 journey. Like that was years and years of impatient waiting and
Tumblr and
just,
fan fictions,
just rewatching specific things, making theories and stuff like that. But we're here. We're near the end of season 3.
That's right.
We have the actual world of this whole thing just broken up into just crazy stuff.
Oh yeah.
You are awesome for being here.
Thank you.
I love you
so much.
Like, thank you so much for being here with us in this. So, you transcendent mad lads, if you want to get involved in the discussion regarding this thing, leave a comment down below, because apparently Jacob at the very least reads the comments here. Also, check out the link in the description below for our Discord, where you can get involved in the manga discussion more interactively with Jacob there, or the anime only discussion regarding a lot of our awesome members in the community there, and myself, which is really fun. And also we have our community events coming up in there as well, so so get hyped for that. And then also the discussion surrounding something that we brought a lot of attention to this discussion.
Yes.
Battle Lines.
Battle Lines, my sci-fi novel that features child soldiers. If you want to understand...
And some of the themes of Attack on Titan.
Yeah, and definitely some of the themes of Attack on Titan. So if you want to read that story and understand some of the references we were making and things like that, well, there's a link to Amazon so you can purchase it in the description below. If you're outside the US, then unfortunately we can only do ebooks right now. But hey, instantly get it. Boom.
That's true. No shipping.
Yeah, there you go.
Very fast.
As awesome as shipping is, you know.
Yeah.
Because I love shipping.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that's there.
So apologies if there's anything in this episode that I didn't discuss, because it's been 2.5 hours of this video. So we're going to move on here, but you're awesome. Jacob, you're awesome for doing this with me. This is so freaking amazing.
We're here.
All right,
we are here.
This is it.
Yeah.
Signing off now. Semblance of Sanity. We'll see you later. But until then, just end the video. End the video. Outros are weird.
Yeah.